Nothing to rise and report there. All good? Okay. Call back to order the open special budget meeting. We are still on Schedule E. Any other comments, questions? Councillor Lehman?
This pump PW8, was that already replaced or is being replaced?
Ms. Thompson?
Thank you. So PW8 was complete in 2021, and there is still an outstanding amount that has not been paid. So it was a carry forward from 2021, but the project is complete.
Gotcha. Councillor Kirkowka.
So I don't have, it's not really a concern about being in the budget, but I'd like to talk to council and see what council thinks about a motion being put forward in regards to the trade of the Wild River Interface Protection Trailer. Putting a motion forward, having staff reaching out to PRD, plus our other partnering communities to see if they would be into putting funds into this. You know, to me, if we get enough municipalities that are our partners, as well as the PRD, all contributing, including us, instead of one trader for the Peace Region, there could be a few traders bought for the Peace Region. If more municipalities realize the value in it, you know, I just wonder what council thinks about that, putting it on the floor, having staff reach out to PRD, but also to our neighboring communities. Chatwin, Boss Creek, Scoop Bay, Taylor, Fort St. John, Hudson Hole. There was fires in this whole Peace Region. And to me, if we contribute, maybe our cost goes down from the 75 because everybody contributes enough that we can buy 2 or 3 of these traders if all municipalities jump on board. Maybe other municipalities haven't thought about it. Not every municipality wants to own one outright either. Just from council side, like, I don't think it's a bad thing to see if other municipalities want to come in on.
Council? Councillor Lehman?
Thank you. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea. I mean, everybody chips in and, or if they want to, and then, figure out where best place to keep them. I mean, if there's enough to buy one, I don't know if there's enough to buy one for every community, but maybe just spread them out. Figure out where the best place would be to store them.
Councillor Norbury?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. I'm more interested in Tumbler having our own, right? Like I'm happy to share if there's a need, but in cases like this, we're always rationalize why we don't get the thing. It's stored in Chetwynd because Chetwynd's bigger. It's stored in Dawson because Dawson's bigger, right? If PRD wants to have one for the PRD, great. I fully support them in doing that, but this is the Tumble Ridge project, and I think the Tumble Ridge residents would feel much more secure with having our own in case, as well as satisfied with the costs, knowing that it's going to be here when we need it, not when somebody else needs it. I mean, fire season, sometimes it can be affecting multiple regions at once. So I think it's protecting our community. I'd rather see.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Kirkowka?
Thank you, Worship. Yeah, I never once said taking the funds out of our budget either, just so Councilor Nobody knows that. I say reaching out with the idea that town, our fire chief came forward with it. Staff did. There's no hurt in seeing if other municipalities want to put money towards it. I'm not saying towards the one here, but maybe there could be multiple units bought. You know, there was fires in Chetwynd at the same time there was in Tumble Ridge. So maybe if the PRD steps forward, never mind the other municipalities hear about it as well. They have a chair that sits at the PRD. Maybe everybody gets together, everybody starts throwing in 20 or 30 grand through the PRD. we go buy a couple more of these trailers. There is one in Tumblr, there's one in Fort St. John, and one in Pascooty. The following year, there's more funds put in, and there's one station in Chetwynd. We have four areas of the Peace region covered with trailer units that can go anywhere if needed. That's the idea. It's not having the one here. I'm not saying to take the one. I never once even mentioned taking the money out of that one. I'm saying reach out. They came up with an idea. I mean, no disrespect to Chief Courier or talking, put words in his mouth, but I guarantee the other ones all talk about it. But sometimes it takes an initiative to realize that Tunnel Ridge is going to be going forward with it. Maybe other people want to jump on board too and contribute, including the PRD. They might want. I mean, they might be. I mean, they're expanding fire zones in their regional district, anyways.
So
it might be just another way of getting more units available.
You're thinking of cost savings for multiple units rather than sharing this unit.
Multiple unit buy.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, for me, I think this is a great idea. Thank you to staff for bringing it forward. But I think if we were to invest in this is really last line of defense after everyone's evacuated, and you know, it's not a matter of lending it out. I think it needs to stay within our community, just given our remoteness. Councillor Norbury.
Thank you, Mayor Burke. And I apologize, Councillor Falk. I didn't realize that was your intention. You know, I went to the extreme, and I was concerned for our community, our residents. So hearing that it's not removing this from our budget, no problem with supporting, you know, raising awareness in the region to have an extra safeguard for multiple communities.
Councillor
I'll put a
Krukowka.
motion for it. I appreciate Councilor Norbury's comments. The staff reach out to the PRD as well as our partner communities, Chetwynd, Hudson Hope, Taylor. Actually, let's just do the regional district communities to each municipality, stating what our fire chief has come forward with in regards to our budget, in regards to the wildland urban interface sprinkler protection trailer, and that we're asking to see if they would like to come in on it in regards to being able to buy other units,
Purchasing power.
purchasing power to buy other units.
Okay, thank you. Seconder. Councillor Lehman. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Okay, any other questions, concerns in regards to Schedule E? Councillor Lehman? Yeah, I got you, Councillor Majinski. Councillor Lehman first.
So what's the status on the installation for the water reservoir?
The status?
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah, but we have to replace it, don't we?
Ms. Thompson?
Thank you. Yes, we do have to replace it, and it actually is in under item 3.3, where staff will be asking for pre-approval for it, for that project to move forward.
I was just trying to jump the queue.
Okay. No problem. Any other question in regards to that? Okay. No questions, bad question. Oh, sorry, Councillor Majinski. What are you?
Thank you, Mayor. Unit 59, the trailer. Is there a assessed value on it to resell, or is it in too much of a disrepair to resell? The reason I ask this is recently the Ridge Riders Snowmobile Association had theirs stolen. So I was wondering if we could maybe reach out to them and see if they would be willing to purchase our old one if we go ahead and buying a new one.
Interesting idea, Councillor. Ms. Thompson.
Sorry. Thank you, Mayor Bertrand through council. I'll have Mr. Lowther respond.
Thank you.
Mayor, Council, good question. I guess regarding our purchasing policy and advertising assets for sale, or if a person can make a donation, I'm not.
We can
sure.
look into it further.
Yes.
Staff will look into it further.
Thank you very much. Follow-up, Councillor?
Nope, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Krukowka?
So I guess just one part of that question, I think Councilor Majinski asked, is it in good enough shape for it to go? do something like that? Whether it's for sale or whatever, I understand stuff's gonna come back in regards to quite the other part of that question, but if we're purchasing one because it's when the wells are breaking off and stuff like that, is it actually something that we would be looking at putting out as for sale, or is it something that is actually gonna end up in a recycling bin?
Ms. Thompson?
Thank you. I'll have Mr. Lowther respond. Mr. Lowther?
It would be sold as is. It's in pretty rough condition. I'm not sure if it's required for their shell machine. I think that's what they use it for, or weight capacity, or what that GBW would be for that. So I'm not sure it would be suitable, but it would take an investment to bring that to spec if it would work.
Okay, thank you. Did you get all that, Councillor Majinski?
Yes, I did, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other questions?
Mayor,
Councillor Majinski?
Unit 34, the GMC 2007, do we have an assessed value on that vehicle?
For disposal you're talking? Ms. Thompson? Councillor Kirkhope?
You just before stop, isn't that in our asset management policy that it's when they replace vehicles, that it goes, whether it's auctions or whatever the staff decides? That's how it's done. It's actually advertised on Civic Web or something. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No.
It's some civic site. I think that's what they do with it. So like if it's, no disrespect to Councilman Majinski, if he's questioning why we're getting rid of it, that's a good question, but the value of them, I mean, again, that's part of our asset management program.
So he's just looking for an approximate current value? Is that what you're looking for, Councillor Majinski?
Yeah, because if a new vehicle is $68,000, what are we going to get for the resale value of 2007? You know, it doesn't have a lot of mileage. Yeah, it might have rust-seal floors, but, you know, floor pans, if that's what's causing it to not pass inspection, I don't know. There must have to be a lot more than just tire repairs on here. So the value of the vehicle must be quite low. So I just don't know if we're going to get a big investment back out of it if we're going to resell it.
No, I think, you know, the recovery cost is kind of a bonus as far as our asset management program or system is working. Like it's, well, there's certainly reasons for replacing all of these vehicles, and you know, Ms. Thompson, if staff could elaborate a little bit more on Unit 34, please.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Bertrand, through council. Mr. Lowther is prepared to answer that question. Mr. Lowther?
Thank you.
Councilor Mayor, this is a perfect example of an asset kept too long to obtain the proper return on investment. To repair the floor pan, the rusted out floor, to make it legal under Ministry of Modi, costs more than what the vehicle's worth. The vehicle realistically in auction for somebody with a farm, it's probably worth $3,000. For somebody that's going to license it, drive it on the road, it's probably $1,000 because they're going to have to put $2,000 into the floor pan. I don't know why it's a floor plan. So, but this is a perfect example of not getting back what we should. If this vehicle was sold at even low kilometers, and it's a double-edged sword, for the costs incurred and the cost to maintain and future expenditures, if you keep it too long, you just don't get the return on investment. We've definitely used this asset right until its bitter end, but had it been sold a few years ago, we'd probably get $12,000.
And Mayor and Council, to add to that, through this stepping system of evaluation signing authority, when Doug puts an apparatus, a request for an apparatus to go for we call a relife sale, then he has to bring the data back to the management team
to ensure that not one person has the signing power authority to make a decision. It's a collective senior management group that sees all the data. It's not isolated by one individual. So just assure that we're getting the best bang for the buck. We're actually going further and using this process in HR as far as placing bids on information on job positions and stuff to different variables and have a multiple signing on that as well. So it's working. It's a transparency and to ensure you that you're getting your best bang for your buck. And it's not just a friend of a friend that's actually coming to buy it or something like that. There's transparency and legal obligations to have multiple signing authority to release infrastructure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Any follow-up, Councillor?
No, thank you. I think it's good information to have of the current assessed value of a vehicle for trade-in. Whether we utilize that or not in the negotiations, I think it's quite valid information.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, there's certainly a difference between assessed value and what you will get at an auction. So it's, you know, it's up for debate there. But one thing I would like to see moving forward is some sort of a report of the recovery from auctions that we've never been presented that information. So I guess that's my guess is that's likely where a lot of the questions come from is because we have.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. And it's just like the Zamboni. We're going to potentially get $12,500 for it, but is that actual? Be nice to know what we do get for it eventually. And that's why I posed a question on a vehicle that didn't have a listed value.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Hey, any other questions in regards to Schedule E? Councillor Norbury?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. I'll make a motion to accept Schedule E.
Can I do have a question,
My mistake.
so can I just hold off on that motion for just one moment? I'd just like a little bit more, maybe an explanation, Ms. Thompson, on the golf course road replacement project. I see, I have it as Schedule E. Is it F on yours? It's E? Yeah, okay. Ms. Thompson?
Oh, the next one. Oh, the next, okay. Thank you. I'll have, thank you, Mayor Bertrand, through council. I'll have Director Simcock respond to golf course road replacement.
Thank you.
Director Simcock?
Honorable Mayor and Council, so looking at the data and the file that was handed to me a while ago on the close to $4 million project set forth by Urban Systems, I started the breakdown procedure to site Flatbed Creek. Internal project management would be ours. Engineering under the BC OPSS would be ours. Installation, environmental certificate, we have in-house. So we can do 2/3 of the soft costs internally. We can do third party, do Agate Labs or AIL for compaction, geothermal, or even nuke gauge for asphalt. Or we can press the asphalt supplier, which we did today, to give us the asphalt testing included with the demographics. So most of that stuff there, I can't speak to the accelerated costs. I don't know where they came from. I don't know where they exist. That included a 3-way changeage for CSPs for the entryment that were actually purchased, which I had a problem with finance trying to take a tangible asset and recover them and put life back to the American number for funding. I didn't know how it worked. I still don't know how it works. But anyway, we have stuff in-house that we're going to reuse that we paid for one day ago, and I don't know why we haven't. So we have stuff, thank God we have it. That drove the cost down by $38,000 for the end treatment. So the drainage should be shot by us. Next week I'm doing an in-house survey tech course to show our young staff how to survey and keep contractors online with benchmarks and critical isolate. It's simply, you see a low number there, and you're going to get the same product that they were going to offer you. We're gonna do most of it internally and what we call strangle a contractor to make sure that we get what we paid for it. He's not gonna be here 1 minute of the day without representation for DTR. That's the big difference. He's not gonna get paid unless we sign off on the product too, to ensure that we're gonna get what we get.
Perfect. As far as the owning of the land, I know there was some issue about boundaries around the golf course. I just need confirmation that we now own that right-of-way road. Is that correct, Ms. Thompson?
Sorry, thank you. Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. So there is an outstanding boundary concern, but I believe that's on the other side. We're 98% sure that this roadway and everything, that boundary had been gone through, but there was an edge that they had to add after the fact, so it was a second boundary expansion.
Okay,
So we can double check that, but we're 98% sure that that portion is already owned by the district.
okay. So the boundaries that we're talking about currently are another part of the golf course.
Correct. From my understanding is that it's by the 100-acre woods, like there, not.
Okay.
where the road goes in.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Kirkhalka?
Yeah, just for clarity, because it says right in your thing that we've owned it since 2019.
There, yeah.
So, just want clarity, 'cause you're second guessing.
We were 98% sure, so that's 100% sure now.
Okay, thank you. I just read it, it's been in there, that's what I'm trying to.
Yeah, I just wanted to,
But it did say we owned it since 2019.
Yeah.
So there's your 2%.
yeah, and I just wanted to clarify because we were talking about boundary issues around the golf course currently, so I knew that originally that road was an issue with boundaries, so I just wanted to ensure that we don't spend a whole lot of money on crown land. Councillor Kirkhalka?
Trying to think of the word, I'm probably not gonna have it, but what kind of, when this project starts, what kind of access to the golf course is gonna be kept throughout?
Good question. Ms. Thompson?
Thank you. I'll have Director Simcock provide information on what the alternate access is gonna be.
The water?
Okay, so in this plan, Mayor and Council, there's an excessive shoulder on the sandy side that we're gonna incorporate to a walkway, yeah? Walk path, that is going to be extended. While paving, I have to shut it down. Okay, for about a 3-hour period until the rollers are done on the 3.5 meter lane. So 7 meter lane width, yeah, a legal 3.5 meter times 2, legal road width, with a 3 meter gravel shoulder to walk on or ride your bike on, rather than a whoopie-doo thing in the grass, with drainage, proper drainage. They're gonna run on gravel until I get the 1 lane paved, and then I'm gonna run on 1 paved until I get the other 3.5 and the gravel shut off. In 4 hours, we'll be shut off. So I can do the transition and leapfrog and get back to the road, start pulling my HL3 to the parking lot. And it's not the parking lot.
Okay, thank you. Councillor?
So just on it, I think staff will be on it anyway, so I probably don't have to give it a heads up. But we definitely need to make sure it's well advertised what day that's gonna happen. Golf course, obviously we're not doing it in the rain. So nice day, we should probably just stay away from a Tuesday and a Thursday, if we can.
Evenings, yeah.
Well, I believe, depends what happens during the pandemic here. But I think we should be careful on the Tuesdays and Thursdays until we know everything's opened up. 'Cause
For sure.
I believe the ladies, it was an all-day event. Anytime they golf, right? I'm not sure what's going on, but I must have missed it. There seems to be a joke going on here. I'm not sure if it's about my question or not.
No, I don't think so. Ms. Thompson?
Thank you. Under the direction of Director Simcock, we have traffic control plans, and last year when we did our paving, we put them up on our Facebook page, and we did more of an advertising campaign, so we would do the same thing with this, with a traffic control plan and information to our residents and visitors that will be using the golf course.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Norbert?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. I apologize. I was using last budget meeting's notes, and this is on Schedule F, so
No
there we
problem.
go. But because we're spending $1 million on the golf course road, I think it's important to comment on it and that I support the project. I mean, people use that area all year long. We go down there to, go sledding with the kids, the new ice rink, and during the summer, that road is dangerous. And we go down there for the restaurant, for golfing, men's and ladies' night, all these different things. We gotta get this done. So,
Yeah, I can certainly attest to the danger. My young daughter did an endo on her bike down that hill. And tell you, all I had was a shirt to cover her face with blood. But yeah, definitely. Any other questions in regards to Schedule E? Councilor Lehman.
Just one, and this may be a little bit silly, but the bunker stairs between holes 1 and 9.
Question?
Yeah. Stairs between 1 and 9.
Ms. Thompson?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand, through council. It was an error in our first printing, so the second printing, now it's 1 to 9. So it's to replace the bunker stairs or the stairs going up to the tee boxes. All of them,
T-box stairs.
tee box stairs. And I'll have Director Simcock provide more information. Director
Thank you.
Simcock?
Yeah, beyond the audit and slip strips and falls, minor sectional loss, major sectional loss, accident waiting to happen with the existing wood, railway ties that are not level, doesn't meet rise over run threshold, and at the last hole going to the golf house, the stairs that are sporadic by the pond aren't set up. They're off. They're starting to separate and offset. So I'm going to draw the drawings. We have someone in house that's going to actually fabricate the design. And we're going to implement them and make them legal. With that design, there's solar lights and the step yet. Just to dawn, because there's a problem when we drove the site. People were caught at late. It was getting dusk, and these things they're just solar that get embedded into the wooden steps that we put in, so that in case they're caught late, the steps would be lit so they wouldn't slip and fall off the steps.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Kirkowka.
Yeah, I just think you have a couple of holes wrong. Yeah, I understand what you're projecting in regards to stairs. I mean, one of them is going to be at hole 3. Would be one of them. So I just think you have the hole numbers wrong.
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah, exactly. But but you're just saying 1 through 9.
Yes.
Good enough for me.
Oh,
I think that's where
Yeah,
concept.
that's right.
So that's where
1,
concept.
2,
Maybe I'm
9,
saying it's
yeah.
1 and 9. I'm thinking you had the holes wrong. Gotcha.
Sorry. Can I just comment on that?
Please.
We had a short discussion about this. I wanted to use 1 through 9 and the English wanted 1 through 9. So.
Makes sense now.
now it's clear as mud.
Yeah, and I think it was confusing by referencing bunker stairs because
Yeah.
we recognize sand traps as the bunkers. So yeah, it's but that makes a lot of sense. I mean, those stairs are definitely past their life cycle, and they are dangerous when slippery for sure.
Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you very much for the clarification.
Mayor, if I may?
Councilor Majinski?
Yeah, so with these new stairs, are they gonna match the ones that are on hole 5 with the hand railings to meet code?
And does hole 5 meet code?
You betcha.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes, Director Simcock did indicate a little earlier that we would have everything built to code and follow code.
Thank you.
So, 2 handrails then, left and right sides.
Ms. Thompson?
Thank you. I'll have Director Simcock respond, as he has indicated it is just 1 handrail, not 2, but I'll have him explain. Director Simcock?
Code over rise over run with the height, request for 1 yard for support. Because it can be an access up or access down, not dedicated step up and down. It can go both ways, so you pick the side with the railing on and use it for your guard. Council requests to have a second rail, there'll be an additional cost to the number.
Thank you. Any follow-up, Counselor?
No, not on the railings. So what are the cost implications going down the road? Are they going to be painted, stained? Because they are all wood right now. What are they going to be treated with? The reason I bring this up is when we had our discussion about our downtown core and what we were going to use for longevity of our benches, I was kind of wanting to know if we could go with a solid hard compressed fiberboard or something like that,
Like a composite.
just like for composite decking.
Ms. Thompson?
Thank you. I'll have Director Simcock respond regarding the material that was planning on being used.
I've reviewed the downtown sector, and I think the wood, it was the artificial full wood or
Yeah,
whatever
the
that was
composite,
recommended.
yeah.
There wasn't a stain factor issued on that. It was just a natural wood grain. If you wish to stain it a certain week, it would cost whatever it cost for a pail of stain and get one of the youth to stain them. I don't think that's an issue at all, or would even reflect a cost item.
Okay. Follow-up, Counselor?
No, I'm just concerned about the longevity going forward if we have to replace them in, 7 to 10 years because they weren't treated. That's all.
Okay. Ms. Thompson?
Thank you. I'll have Director Simcock provide more detail on the material that was planning on being used.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was going to be a 12-inch recessed cut overlap wood, leg bolted system, glued and screwed, stained if you needed stained. But through our auditing system that we did at the golf course, which would be every year now, at the end of the season, if it fails the audit, the stuff will be replaced. Recommended that our health and safety directives be replaced immediately, which was done and created through that one area that was identified. I don't know what hole, all the trees that were laying down and people were trying to crawl up and hurting themselves.
Four.
That was identified. We took the wood out there immediately. This is the same process to the auditing system that we do everywhere. That if the stairs don't meet legal issues, they're getting replaced or terminated. So rest assured that it doesn't, we'll have to monitor them to see what the longevity, it would depend on use and what Mother Nature is going to do to the elements, but it's monitored every year.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions, concerns? Okay, I think we're ready for your motion now, Councillor Norbury. Please.
Great. I'll make a motion that we accept Schedule E, Public Works, capital special project budgets as amended.
Seconder, Councillor Kirby. Any more discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Any opposed on the phone? Carried, thank you. Moving on to Schedule F. Questions, concerns? Councillor Kirkhalka.
So when we talk about the IT sound system upgrade, they made this discussion in regards to the arena as well. I see the aquatic sound systems on there. Are we happy with the sound system that is in the arena now?
Ms. Thompson?
Thank you. 1 second, please. Sorry, I know this was a project that was on the slate last year in 2020 2021, so it has been forwarded to 2022. Regarding the sound system in the arena, I am from a conversation held with staff over at the community center in regard to the GMHL and the junior A team. They thought the system was sufficient, but I will have staff review the system again and bring anything forward that they feel needs to be upgraded for the sound system in the arena.
Thank you. Councillor?
Yeah, and the reason I asked that is I did attend that as well as Councilor O'Leary, as well as Ms. Thompson in regards to welcoming the hockey game here and stuff. And there were some issues up there with, you know, I haven't been up, it's been years since I've been up there. I did 1 year for the skating carnival. There's some issues up there, and maybe it's been updated, but maybe it's not. It's not user friendly. So I do think staff should have a look at that. I believe my understanding with the junior A team coming, they seem to be looking at using the youth for running their music and all that. And I know they had problems. I mean, hats off to Monica Pittman, because she was up there within about 4 minutes. She had it fixed, and there was actually music playing. So I just think we should make sure that we're happy with that one as well. But if I can just, I don't attend the aquatic center. It's not a swimmer or anything like that. What's the concern with it? What's it used for?
Okay. Ms. Thompson?
Thank you. So the sound system is used for aquasize and music and different things like that. And Director Simcock can provide more information, but staff have indicated that the volume buttons are broke and they're not able to, they can only access it through Bluetooth, and the system has been on the list and has been ignored for quite a few years. And we've talked with staff, and it is a valid replacement, but Director Simcock may have more information.
I'm just, Honorable Mayor and Council, we're on speaker systems. Military, we use things that are weatherproof, polyethylene-based products for speaker systems. They use a regular speaker system, like if they go and try to be cheap in an ice rink, the moisture values and temperature values in the roof is different than what the ice is. They're going to have longevity, they're going to crackle and sound like all this. When they do their dancercise in the water, it sounds like someone's talking through a cardboard box. You can't hear anything. And the speakers are all full of mold and moisture, and it's the wrong system. Electronically, it's not isolated or secured either. It's just a system that you take from your house and put there. It's got to be an aqua, weatherproof, moisture-resistant system, just like the speakers and systems in the ice rink as well.
Thank you. Follow up?
No, I don't. Again, I just curious. I didn't attend there, so
Yeah.
to hear that we're looking at actually updating it to the one that should actually be installed in there, probably a good idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Councillor Norberg?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Burt. And then I'll just speak to the pool. Similar to the gym, there's always music going on because, you know, you're doing physical activity, you're listening to it, and even though your head's kind of under the water, it's still one of those things that there's always music going and keeping going. So,
Okay, thank you.
I don't know if that was
Yeah, one of the others.
your question. Yeah.
Any other questions, concerns? Councillor Kirby?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. Just wondering if staff tried to source out grants for any of these upgrades through NDIT or any other, because I know there could be some out there. And especially with the arena upgrades, if we're looking into that, is to look at that and just, you know, for shelf-ready projects for next year or even this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Ms. Thompson?
Thank you. At this time, for this upgrade, there was no application to NDIT, but for future upgrades, it's definitely on our radar with NDIT.
Thank you. Councillor Lehman?
Thank you. Pump track parking lot, pedestrian lighting and picnic benches. I mean, they have a bench there, but I'm just wondering, and this is maybe a little bit crying wolf before it's wanted, but bears like to go through that area behind the pump track. And I'm just wondering if putting picnic tables and garbage bins, I know bear proof, I I don't know if that's, I'd be a little bit leery, just because I've seen bears go through there quite a bit, and that, I mean, kids are gonna be on the pump track, but they're moving and making noise. But if people are sitting there not paying attention, and all of a sudden you got bears behind you, I'd be a little bit worried.
Yeah, that's certainly a popular little ravine. I don't know if they go through there or they actually sleep in there during the day kind of thing, but it's certainly a popular area. I do have concern with this parking lot as well. Ms. Thompson, I'm curious where this came from, to be honest.
Thank you. It was a staff initiative and stepped outside of the box and some stuff that we bring forward, but I'll have Director Simcock respond. Director Simcock?
Yes, Honorable Mayor and Council. So we had the main opening of the pump track. It was Pinnacle. A lot of people showed up. So we started talking. Where did people park? The Legion. What do they do? Across the road. What do the kids do? Run across the road. We identified a traffic parking hazard issue. Even with signage, people were stopping and unloading their kids to the pump track. It happens even all the time after the initial opening. That place is well used. In going over there, after wandering and letting the sods take, the parents were saying, you know, this is great, but we have nowhere to sit, we have nowhere to watch our kids, we have nowhere to park. You know, I know it's great and everything, but the parents that are more diligent as far as parenting goes are want to stay there and monitor their kids. The bear thing, there was 6 to 8 issues of bear sightings with my staff in that ravine. They used it to cross over and come down through the high bench, down through there. There is mulberry in there, and that's what the sows were eating. And then they go back up in the hill. They will be covered bins. I was looking at some kind of bench-like or picnic table within our price range. A rest area where we could move a couple trees out of the way and have shade for the people to rest and keep using that element of the infrastructure. And from the other side of the street, we probably have a walk path, and I was only talking about 3 or 4 cars intermittently because when the kids get on there, they get whipped pretty good, and then they sit down and rest or leave after. And it's not the same kids for a long period of time. It's repeat repetition. So looking at the issue that we had with people using it and not being able to park or rest in sequence seemed to be an issue. We thought outside the box. We thought it would be a good blend, and it wouldn't cost very much money. We could do a lot of the stuff in-house as far as project management and stuff, and isolate and collective price indexing. So if it doesn't want to go ahead, that's okay, but there is a traffic issue there with the amount of people, especially towards the end of the week. It starts to get heightened and increases, but the bear issue, we're on that. So don't let this location deter. We have bears all over the place, and the more bear sighting was over at the skate park at the school. Was the highest bear sighting area. Coming up from the lower end rather than coming down from the hill.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Kirkhalka.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. There was actually a bear there for grand opening. Probably seen fit, I was there for the grand opening. So this was a concern that was raised when we talked about the location of the pump track. We already talked about the parking, and the whole concept was it was going to be, the Legion parking lot was going to be used, there was going to be no parking lot built, and all this. We've used it for a few months this summer, where we're starting to put another $85,000 into it. I think we need to wait and see, and that's my concern. If we have concerns of where people are going to park, then let's put up some signage, put a crosswalk there. But I know when the Mountain Bike Association came forward, that was the whole concept. It was the Legion parking lot. That's why that was discussed through the council, and I believe that's why I kind of went through in the location. When we talk about garbage cans and picnic table and stuff, I have concern with that in regards to the bear issue there. I see what happens down at the skateboard park down below with all the garbage that is left for staff to clean up on a daily basis. And I think there's garbage cans down there as well that aren't used. So if we're going to add to the area and add garbage to the area that we already have bears associated with, They maybe won't be the number one spot, will be the skateboard park in 2022. Because there is no garbage cans and garbage being left by the youth or adults, whoever's doing it. It's not just the children that do it. I think it's something we should wait and see. That's my thoughts on it. I don't think that it hurts staff to add a bench or two to the front or whatever. The Tumbleridge Mountain Bike Association has already added a bench there. Maybe add another one or so. We say it's for because parents want to watch the children, which is great to see that parents are actually attending with the children, but that is not always the case when I go by. I go by quite often just to check it out, especially after it was built, just to see how many of the youth were using it. Yeah, it was probably busier throughout on the weekends, but I do think that it's something that we should just pump the brakes for a bit and have a watch this year, see where it goes. You know, if we're concerned, and I appreciate staff's comments in regards to the road and stuff, then let's put up a crosswalk. Put up some signage, because I think that is what the Tumbleridge Mountain Bike Association came in on, is the Legion parking lot. That parking lot is, I believe it is our lot. I could be wrong. It's a shake of the head, so I'm right. It's our lot. I think we should still work with the Legion because they do have events on the weekends throughout the summer, whether it's a golf tournaments and stuff. But we should, make sure they know about it. But I think we should just pump the brakes a bit and watch it this summer, and then go from there. Add something to it maybe at a later time, but I do have concerns about it right now.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Norbury?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. I have a couple questions. So first, do we have a proposed location of where the parking lot will be? Will it be on the water treatment center side, or will it be on the other side of the program?
Ms. Thompson?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand, through council. I'll have Director Simcock respond again.
It was initiated, I was told that it was through Honorable Mayor and Council, that it was prime land, yeah? It was going to be a very small rectangle parking lot off the water treatment site, and then you walk through meandering path to cut through there right now anyway, and then come to the back side, the middle of the sign that picks if you go directly right through there at the low-lying area of the whoop-de-doos, you'll see that's where the primary path is, where they're coming through. And then we just open it up a bit with taking down 20 trees, putting some picnic tables in a unified area, and putting some gravel down for organic growth to protect the walkway. That's it.
Follow up?
Oh, I don't have a really good understanding. So it's going to be behind the water treatment center side on the other side?
No, beside the water treatment center, in between the water treatment center and the pump track.
Yeah. Okay.
Ms. Thompson?
And then around the backside.
The backside of the pump track.
Yeah, thank you. I have some comments about that. Like, I've already had conversations with quite a few residents, and some from Hartford Court, who see what's happening there all the time. And there is concerns about safety of children crossing the street, because they're crossing all the time. And I don't know about you guys driving through there at night, but it's ridiculous seeing, I wouldn't say ridiculous, but it's
Concerning.
safety concerning when you have multiple cars parked on the road. And then I've even seen people driving up along the walking path. Like, they'll go up onto the water treatment center, and they'll just drive along it. So people are already using it. So now I think the community is already showing that there's a need for this, and they want it. So, I mean, it's not a build and they will come. They're already there. We should be building to suit the need that they're expressing, right? And with the garbage, without bins, we're not going to remove the garbage problem. They're not going to take it with them. They're still going to throw it on the ground, but at least there'll be a place for them to throw garbage into, right? So, I mean, yeah, maybe we can up the schedule of checking those high bear areas, right? Say, go there every day to check them, or every other week, or maybe every other. Well, just check on them a little more. But anyways, I'm in support of keeping it. I mean, people already expressed there's a need for it, and
Okay. Ms. Thompson?
Mayor, if I can?
Ms. Thompson first, please.
Thank you. Chief Curry has some information to add. Chief Curry?
Mayor and Council, I share your sentiment when we're talking about public safety in this area. One of our biggest concerns that I've noticed is the amount of speed that's actually in that area. It's zoned similar to what Northgate and Southgate are. It doesn't actually change until we're into more residential zones. So, looking at possibly adding a crosswalk I think is a terrific idea. I would also support the idea of creating a playground zone around that area in order to slow people down. I'm not getting speed bumps in it, but having some signage as you come off of Northgate and Southgate in order to slow people down in that. Because the councilors are absolutely right. People will stop, they'll let their kids out. Quite often we get kids that are riding on the roadside where they've crossed the street, they're not using sidewalks, and that could definitely become a big public safety concern.
I agree. Councillor Majinski, then Kirby, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, there are 2 crosswalks already on that street. They are a little bit further away, but maybe it would be a good idea to have a slow zone or a kids playing zone or whatever, because it is a zoned park and recreation area. My question on the lighting, is it to light up the entire pump track?
Ms. Thompson?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand through council. No.
Just the pathway, the parking lot. Councillor Kirby?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. I like that staff brought this forward because they are addressing the concerns that they've already seen last summer. I think where the proposed parking lot would go, I like that idea. I like the pathway around. But I think this could be a grant dependent project once again. Like, I like it. I won't vote in favor of it right now, but I think if we could put it to next year, do some more research on it and the area around, because, starting off like suggested, the crosswalks, the children playing slow down zone, maybe no parking, but just again, having to educate the residents on, this is what was proposed, use the Legion parking, do a little bit due diligence on their part, but I think this could be just, wait and do a little bit more work and source out some grants.
I agree.
Mayor, if I may?
Councillor Lehman, then Majinski?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a thought, maybe a small section of fence just on the back, just so that, if the bear is in that area, then it's not likely to come where the picnic tables are. Just, I don't know, it's just something to maybe consider, just so that, the roadway is okay, they're not gonna come the road. And I realize that, with the kids and the parents there's probably maybe enough noise to keep them away, but it may not always be the case.
Councillor Majinski?
Thank you, Mayor. So the pump track project was a 3-year project. There was a lot of deliberations on it, a lot of video or concepts, designs, and everything else. And in those designs, concepts was a skills park in the wooded area. Now, I'd like to see maybe a design or concept of where the location of the parking lot proposed will be, these park benches, because we had to get a lot of approvals done just to get the pump track built with all of the invested parties in there. So it would be good to see the finalized concepts and designs going forward and making sure that they coincide with the potential to expand on the pump track with the skills park that was outlined in the delegations in the past.
Okay. Is that in the master plan, Councillor Majinski?
That was in the master plan with the ridge, yes.
Okay.
It was also in the pump track design as well.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Kirkowka?
Yeah, thank you, Richard. I think Councilor Kirby she's got it kind of hit right on there. Like grant dependent or, have something ready, but again, like we talk about building it small and I hear Councilor Norby going, I hear from everybody, they're all using them. Well, we're building 3 stalls. Do explain to me how that suits the needs. I believe that's what staff said, 3 or 4 stalls. So again, I think it's something that, needs to be looked at. I think we need more look at to make sure if we're gonna go this route and look at trying to do a parking lot on that side, which to me, I was sold on it when we were told the parking lot was Legion parking lot, or I was sold on it that way. I do think it needs to be held off a bit. Just let's have a look at it. Councillor Majinski just mentions about this Sorry, which call, Councilor Majinski?
Skills Park?
Skills Park. You know, there's some talk of this other stuff, and I think we need to look at the whole picture because, you know, maybe we're not in favor of expanding that area anymore, whether it's a skills park or we don't want to put any parking lot in there. We don't want a bunch of picnic tables and garbage cans. I think we just need to have a look at it first. At $85,000, I don't think it hurts to hold off on it. When I talk about garbage, Councillor Noberry, I'm talking down at the skateboard park where the garbage cans are not. And we have staff, even last summer, I believe, daily, picking up the garbage down there. So I don't think it hurts to put a garbage can right out the front by the pump truck. But again, it's another thing that staff have to go do. So when you start adding meat, picnic tables and all this, it's more that they're gonna have to go and pick up. And we complain that we're not seeing this done or that done in our municipality. That's because we have staff having to go around and pick up garbage for people that should be picking it up. And I think that's something that maybe we should start advertising or doing some kind of publication on the usage of our stuff, whether it's our playgrounds, skateboard park, pump tracks, whatever the jump track, whatever's being built and stuff like that. How, you know, it's the respect that's needed from the residents and visitors to pick up after ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should do a campaign on something like that. You drop it, pick it up, but dispose of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you to staff for bringing this forward. You know, I do appreciate the recognition of this area, and I do think we have a couple of starting points. But I think this, in my opinion, I think we could possibly push this to 2023 budget deliberations. So I'm gonna put forward a motion that we remove pump track parking lot and rest area from Schedule F. Seconder, Councillor Kukalka. Discussion. All in favor?
Mayor,
Councillor Majinski?
Yeah. I think we can still have deliberations on it going forward. I don't know if we should be pushing it off. Like, we could do some of this in increments. It just shows that the District of Tumbler Ridge and the Mayor and Council support what has gone and that what a nonprofit has done for the community. I think what staff has provided is like they seen the need and they seen the demand and they wanted to enhance it a little bit more. And I don't think we should take that away from staff because I think they did a great job on this and they came up with some ideas and we're thinking outside of the box. So I think they should get some of the due respect on what they have come up with here. Whether it's a little bit of it, partial of it, but it should be done in stages.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Questions? Call to question, all in favor? Opposed? Any opposed on the phone? Councillor Majinski, you were opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, thank you. Motion passes. And just for clarification, by motioning to remove this, I was not in any way intending any disrespect towards staff. Again, thank you for bringing this forward. Councillor Kukalka.
I 100% agree with your comment. Now, just back to staff, Chief Gray brought it up, and Councillor Norbury brought it up, and brought it up, I think all of us have, including Councillor Majinski on the phone. How do we move forward in regards to what does staff need from us, or is it already within the budgets in regards to other budgets, in regards to some proper signage over there and a crosswalk installed?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's critical first steps here. I think, you know, the intention for the parking was the Legion parking lot, but nobody knows that. So, you know, a simple pump track parking sign with an arrow could easily be done there, as well as the crosswalk. I think that's a fantastic idea, and the playground zone I think is well needed as well. Ms. Thompson, motion for a report, or what do you think?
I'll have Director Simcock, sorry, thank you, Mayor Bertrand. I'll have Director Simcock respond, and then Chief Curry and what we will require if we're going to reduce speed to put playground area in there. So, Director Simcock.
Thank you.
Technically, Mayor and Council, we have a park and rec supervisor personnel ahead that brought this forward. They're monitoring the care and control, watering, and doing the organics, flowers and stuff there, and the waste management. There was a high level of concern for health and safety, that there's going to be an accident there. That's what we're bringing, we need to get people off the street. Just talking to Mr. Curry regarding, there's 2 sidewalks crossing there. We have to relocate and bring it closer to the pump track so that it has crossing from the parking lot of the Legion to the pump track. Then we have to post the speed to reduce it through Dustin Curry's group and post signage. We need funds to identify that. Clinically, the fence I noted down there, we don't have to be bear fence, but we will look at a price to get a fence put up as a barrier safety separation for bear issue. And we might be able to move stuff away from that area or put some kind of plant or foliage there, like German thistle or something to keep people away. Yeah, something with spikes on it or something. Plants to keep people away from that fence for bears. But there is a safety issue. We need to act on it. There will be funds to put a new crosswalk. It will be minor, operational. But we will show an increase in that area because we've identified a problem and we have to react. What we were only trying to do, council and mayor, was just have a little rest area. We reduce it to 1 or 2 tables. Tables are needed there. Near that section out of the way, kids launching themselves off those ramps. So, yeah, it was concerns that we brought. Our staff did a very good job. Thanks for recognizing us to move forward on these concerns. I think it's looking at the amount of time we put in there. We're going to put time in picking up garbage around here. People are just going to throw garbage. So that's not going to go away.
Ms. Thompson, there was talk of having to post speed change. Is there a time delay on that? Like, do we have to give a certain amount of notice?
Sorry, Mayor and Council, for our deliberations here. So staff is saying if we can have a motion from council, just saying that from here to here, North Gate to South Gate is a playground,
Designated
Or
as a playground.
designated as a playground area, then that would be sufficient for staff to implement that area that would reduce the speed.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Kirkowka.
Yeah, so just gonna ask my question again when I asked about funds. Is there enough funds for the crosswalk already within our budget? And is there enough funds in our budget already, somewhere in your budget, for the signage part?
Ms. Thompson?
Thank you. For the amount of signage that we would need, we'd be able to use up our operational budget for crosswalk and for signage.
Thank you. Councillor?
And to me, instead of making a recommendation just to make this a playground zone or whatever was just talked about from staff, maybe we should be asking whether it's a report or having staff come back with that. Just so that we know we have the right information before we just throw the motion out, so that we have all the captures that staff is looking for. I'd hate to miss something in there. I understand staff's talking back and forth about it, but to me, at least then, I mean, it's not, I think it's important today and it's gonna be important tomorrow, but I think there's 2 feet of snow on it today. So I think if we have it, just a report, or maybe staff doesn't need that motion for a report, they come back in the next meeting with their recommendation and show us what they're talking about before I support it.
Ms. Thompson?
Thank you, Member Trent through council. We can bring back a report, and as it isn't time sensitive with budget, we can definitely bring back a report. We were just, had a discussion, we knew what the bylaw was, but we can create a report and bring it to council with our recommendations in the area where we would have that playground and parks.
Thank you. Councillor?
I'll put that motion forward that we ask staff to bring back a report in regards to a playground zone being implemented on Pioneer Loop.
Thank you. Seconder? Councillor Norbury? Discussion, Councillor Kirkowka?
Yeah, and the reason I asked for a report instead of just putting this motion forward that staff just talked about, I just want to make sure we don't miss something there. I mean, I appreciate them working on the fly. They're working very quick on the fly behind the scenes here. But I just want to make sure we capture it all.
Yep.
You know, we talk about the playground signs, we're talking about crosswalk, you know, the speed signs, whatever it may be. I just want to make sure we capture it all this time.
Yep, absolutely. Any other comments?
Mayor?
Councillor Majinski?
Yeah. I believe it is zoned recreational in that area as well, so that's a little bit of legwork done.
Yep. Okay, thank you. Okay, call to question. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. All right, any other comments, questions in regards to Schedule F? Councillor Milburn.
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. Again, because it is a large spend, I think we should at least weigh in on the new childcare facility. It's something our community definitely needs. You know, I brought up in our last meeting about the people surveyed by SD 59, which may have missed some people. I wasn't notified. You know, I have a child. That over 85% of our community needs childcare. We're losing people because we don't have childcare. Like the nurse that we met, a potential nurse that we met with a doctor husband. Childcare was make it or break it. Now I don't know if that broke it for us, but I can tell you that was when we met with the Councillor Lehman, when we met with a potential replacement, they identified it there. It was a make it or break it for them. They needed it.
And it's not just that one
It's
medical
multiple.
professional.
I'm speaking with our representative for person who is a representative to the school district. You know,
School trustee.
Thank you, our school trustee. I mean, I know the person's name. They mentioned Chetland lost teachers because they don't have childcare. Like we almost lost one of our teachers. Thankfully, they got into the childcare center. So we're losing professionals for the longevity of our community and the growth. We absolutely need this childcare facility.
I agree. Councillor Lehman.
Thank you, Mayor. Don't we have to pass F first before we go to G?
The childcare is on F.
It's on G.
I have it on F.
I have no G.
Ms. Thompson.
It's on both.
So,
I think it's on both.
yes, sorry, when we resaved and reprinted this report in the new agenda, it is Schedule F. In the previous one,
You want to use it?
because we had to update some of the schedules, and when I resaved them, I didn't upload and save them with the right schedule name, so that's my error. So yes, Schedule F is what we require for this one.
Okay, so does all of council have today's agenda in front of them or last week's?
This is today's.
It's on F and G. I have it on both.
Oh,
Just double check.
oh, I
That's
know.
why I thought it was gonna be, I thought it was supposed to be moved to G, and that's why I didn't talk about it.
Okay, can I,
Stop.
sorry. That's because on Schedule G, those are projects that are grant related. So anything that we've applied for grant is where that is. So that, everything's already within the previous schedules, so Schedule G does not have to be approved by council, it's just information.
Information. Okay, thank you very much. Any other comments, questions in regards to Schedule F? Okay, make a motion to approve Schedule F, Community Services on the 2022 Draft Capital and Special Projects Budget. Seconder?
As amended?
As amended, yes, sorry. Councillor Korkalka, thank you. We got the as amended part, thank you. Any other further comments? All in favor? Opposed? Any opposed on the phone? Carried, thank you.
No.
Okay, and Schedule G again is just for information. So everybody cross their fingers and their toes, please. All right, 3.3, I believe. Draft 2022 Capital and Special Projects Pre-Approval, a report from the Director of Finance dated February 28, 2022 to seek pre-approval of time-sensitive capital and special projects. Ms. Thompson, I remember last meeting there was one addition. Did we get that addition in there? Yeah, thank you. Does council want to discuss any of this or are we ready for the recommendation? Councillor Korkalka.
Yeah, it's not about discussing, I'd just like a question of staff is what is our projected taxation for 2022? What is our projected spend for 2022?
So taxation as far as requisition goes?
Approximate tax going to be collected this year. Approximate. I understand that we're still waiting for BC assessment on all this, and I was going to talk to Ms. Thompson already, so she knew this question was coming.
Okay. Ms. Thompson?
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Bertrand, through council. So we're just trying to recollect. We did have it in the previous report that we had brought with schedules, and we did not attach it to this. So you can give us one.
Sure thing. Yep.
We're just having a delay with our Wi-Fi.
No problem. Does anybody need a bio break? 5 minute
Yeah.
recess. Recess for 5, please.
Just a reminder, the live stream is still on.
Thank you.
It's one letter. It's pretty much the same thing, right? If you want help with the alphabet, baby Abigail's got you. She's already up to
B,
Enough?
C, D, E, F, G, H, I, K,
you do a very good baby impersonation. You want
L, S.
to come entertain the kids? Elaborate? Love to
Sure.
have you.
I'm good with kids.
I believe it.
Adults not so much. Hey, Doc, is it Luther or Luther?
How do you say your name?
Luther. Okay.
Lowther?
It's
How?
Laudier in French.
Lowther.
It's French.
No, it's not. What's it in Polish?
Cameras are still
That's like people don't want to say my last name. No. I don't want to say it. I'd like to, you know the drawing that council was out saying that there was for the pump track? Oh, is that the one that connects pump track to the
I'm just
hill?
reopening
Oh,
our
yes.
meeting.
Yes, absolutely.
Wouldn't that enhance the hill? But it would have to meet the drawing. That way, yeah. You're not finished. Now you're having all screwed up. We were talking about pronunciation, using the English vowel guideline, and how people in this building here pronounce things differently. Right, CAO?
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out how grammatically correct the British can pronounce it. Hey, healthy? Comment? Surely at a healthy.
Okay, call back to order, please. Ms. Thompson?
I'll have Ms. Taggarty respond. She's just doing some addition here.
Thank you.
So the request is for what our taxation revenue would be, and then you're asking for our capital spend,
Total spend.
total
I know we
spend.
haven't talked about the core, but I'd like the total if we could have it. The only reason I ask that is because you guys are asking for pre-approval on items, and to me, we need to make sure we understand it. That's why I was in there ready to ask. So the reason I asked this question is when we start pre-approving everything, once it's pre-approved, we can't pull it back to discuss it. And if, I mean, I don't understand yet, it hasn't come forward from staff yet, if there's an increase to our taxation this year. But I would think that that's a possibility. And to me, when we start looking at all these pre-approvals, I mean, maybe there's some items that we can hold off on the pre-approval. Maybe there's some items we can't. I understand staff wants them all, no disrespect to them, but maybe there's some that may need to be held off.
Yeah, as far as I understand, the request for these pre-approvals are time sensitive, I believe. Ms. Thompson, you can clarify. But I do remember council requesting staff at the beginning of our term here to ensure that we bring these pre-approvals so that we're not delaying the process significantly, where we can't even get the items or equipment until the next year. So, council.
And I agree with you, but there is some that may not. I mean, I'm not talking about the water reservoir. I mean, to me, my understanding with that is I would have ordered that. I mean, that's what our mandates are, is to make sure we have water for our citizens and that we can get rid of solids. That's our mandate.
Yep. Ms. Thompson?
Yeah, just one second, we're just adding up the pre-approvals that we're requesting.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Norbury?
Thank you, Mayor Burton.
Would our 5-year financial plan be assistance in this? Like, I pulled it up, and I know we're anticipating $14.3 million in revenue, right? 9.6 in municipal property taxes, 1.4 in sales, services. I don't know if this is useful, but I mean.
Not really.
No, okay, fair enough. That's why I asked. Okay, fair enough.
Nice try.
Thank you, Internet.
We're gonna get in 15 million, there's only $19 million. We get a tax. That's, you know, there may be some items the council $5,000.
Ms. Thompson?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. I'll have Ms. Taggarty respond.
Okay, Mayor and Council, I appreciate your question, but ideally I would have liked to have brought the whole budget, so I know where you're coming from. I do feel that as much as possible we've tried to mitigate any tax increase. I think I wrote that in my report, my previous report. So, and as much as possible we've tried to get grants and things are going to the reserves that we have. So I can't tell you what our bottom line is as far as operation at this stage, but I hope to have that soon. But I can tell you from obviously new capital, yes, this does say over $1 million. So, you know, I can see your concern because that we have to find where that money is coming from. So we've just tallied up capital projects. Total 1,452,000.
Sorry?
1,452,000 is what we're asking to be approved. Obviously, of that one, there is quite a large project, and that's the Golf Course Road, which is coming out $1,022,000.
And then so that's the total capital and special projects spent.
For pre-approval.
For pre-approval.
That's just for pre-approval. Gotcha.
We don't have a total number then.
No, and with projects that we've pulled out right now and with grants that we'll be hearing about soon, you know, by the end of March, we're actually going to be able to shift our funding as well. So that will change our estimate of what it, like Ms. Taggarty responded, it does show $1 million of new capital, but we haven't actually, we're just finishing year end. So some of that could be used from surplus, or it could be used from reserves as well. So we don't have a definitive number as of right now because we just finished our audit and are still streamlining our processes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Councillor?
We have the projected tax revenue for 2022.
To Mayor and Council, so in my previous report, I mentioned that we have got an increase to assessments this year of 3.45%. So that's based on maintaining previous tax rates. That's an extra 171,400. So we'd be looking at 9,804,557.
9.4.
So yeah, so that obviously
9.8.
Oh, so they say
9.8.
Sorry, 9.8. So obviously that increase, it's probably going to be absorbed within operation budget. Obviously, we have staffing, we have our increases related to benefits and staffing, and other costs, obviously. But that could assist with capital.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor?
Yeah, so we look at, I mean, it's only projected until we have the real, and I understand that, so the numbers not help the staff, I wanna make sure that's clear. But that's what comes down to my concern, and we have $1 million new capital. To me, when you start adding that, and then we're taking out of reserves, so we're taking, and I understand some reserves are set up to take out of, makes sense. And not all of them are like that, so like previous years, we were taking out of reserve to balance our budget. That was my concern. I just want to be careful that we're not keep doing that. And we don't have that buffer all the time. We keep doing that. So that's why I asked that before we went to the pre-approval part of the budget. I mean, to me, I understand the wants and the wishes of staff to get things done. And, to me, it's not a huge ask in pre-approvals. But I just think we got to take that, we got to be very serious when we do the pre-approvals and making sure it is the necessity to have it pre-approved, to have it done ASAP. And if there's anything on this, the staff, like when I see the encroachment enforcement project, that is not happening till summertime. Like we have snow on the ground. They are not going to be able to do it with snow on the ground. So I understand it's a small amount and all that, but I understand they need to hire this company so they can start training their staff or whatever it is, but they're not starting till summertime. So some of this stuff gets concerning when we have the from outside.
Okay. Ms. Thompson?
Thank you. For the encroachment project, they would start in April with the training so that they, a couple weeks of training that they would be able to start shortly after that. So that was why the request was for pre-approval, is because we are looking at starting in April.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Thompson, question for staff. Can the golf course road project be done in stages or phases?
Thank you, Member Trent. In order to get the pricing that we currently are looking at, you're having a contractor come in, and so if you try doing it in stages and phases, your pricing is going to go up significantly. So at this time, I would say no. And just to note as well, if you want to look at Schedule A on page 26 for the golf course road, we are looking at pulling that from reserves for that road upgrade.
Okay, thank you.
And as for the Zamboni, that would come out of our fleet reserve. So when we're looking at what we're pulling for pre-approvals right now, a lot of it, you take out 1.1 million is looking at coming from our reserves and our fleet replacement reserve as well, right? So for these projects, it won't be as significant when you're looking at what will come out of what we consider as new capital at this time.
As significant to our tax base.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Comments, questions? Ready for the recommendation? Councillor Nobrey?
Throw the recommendation out there. The council pre-approve the following 2022 capital special projects. A, general government zoning bylaw. B, general government municipal website. C, protective services encroachment enforcement project. D, protective services auto extraction tool replacement. E, golf course road. F, public works purchase of Zamboni. G, water services water reservoir exterior installation.
Okay, thank you. Seconder? Councillor Kirkowka? Just for correction, as I saw Chief Curry mouthing the correction as well, extrication tool.
What did I say?
Extraction.
My mistake?
Similar. No problem. Any other discussion? Councillor Kirkowka.
Yeah, it's too bad we didn't break them down one by one. There'd be some I wouldn't support, so I won't support the motion. And that's okay.
Entertain an amendment.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Any other discussion? Call to question, all in favor? Opposed? Any opposed on the phone? Carried. That was a no, Councillor Majinski?
Correct.
So you, just to confirm, you're in favor?
Correct.
Thank you very much. Motion passes. I'll move the second recommendation that council waives the purchasing policy TR1 and direct award the contract to WSP Inc. for the zoning bylaw and to AllNet Municipal Solutions for the website. Seconder, Councillor Lehman. Discussion. The reason I would like to move this is I do see the benefit of continuing on from the OCP with the same contractor, as a lot of the history was already covered through the OCP, so that's the reason. Any other discussion? Call to question, all in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. Question and answer period, Ms. Thompson? Any emails?
Except that one, second one.
I have none.
Thank you. Okay, adjournment, please. Councillor Kirkowka.
The Tuesday meeting, Tuesday, March 8th, 2022, special budget council meeting is adjourned.
Seconder, Councillor Lehman, all in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. Can you let me know when we're off, please? Good.